A college education is more necessary today than ever before.
Because that's all Americans want, the opportunity to get an education that opens the doors to a life of achievement, fulfillment, and economic power.
However, the skyrocketing cost of tuition leaves students with enormous debt. According to education data, currently most federal aid is provided in the form of loans and grants. Student loans help many students of varying financial backgrounds attend college. Again, education data reports that it takes 20 years on average for students to pay back loans. For professional graduates, it takes over 40 years, and most of the cost ends up being billed by interest. As of 2020, according to education data, 44.7 million Americans have student loan debt. On average, each borrower is in debt by over $37,000. This totals around $1.68 trillion in student loan debt. This debt demands that many borrowers spend entire decades, often working multiple jobs, to be able to afford basic necessities and pay off their debt.
If there is going to be student debt forgiveness, which I would be all for, it can't be a solitary policy action. It needs to be done in conjunction with other supports to ensure that universities can continue operating and improving.
I think there is merit in forgiving student loans, particularly if the individual is undertaking a career in public service. I think at those times where salaries are much lower, it makes sense to encourage young people or graduate students to go into a public service career, and therefore student loans should be forgiven.
I think financially it's difficult to forgive all student loans for all scenarios and all people. It becomes a potentially expensive thing for the government potentially to subsidize.
I believe student loans should be forgiven because as a college student myself, I believe student loans are debt is a trap. It's meant to keep you there for as long as possible. It's kind of a scam.
Some politicians and activists have shown support for debt-free education. Senator Bernie Sanders proposed the Wall Street speculation tax to pay for student loan debt forgiveness.
Our proposal, which costs $2.2 trillion over 10 years, will be fully paid for by a tax on Wall Street speculation, similar to what exists in dozens of countries around the world.
As reported on NPR, Sanders has proposed something he calls a speculation tax, a small levy on every stock, bond, or derivative sold in the United States. According to the Tax Policy Center, Sanders estimated his tax would raise about $3 trillion over a decade, while TPC concluded it would generate only about $400 billion. If student loan debt was forgiven, the $1.7 trillion of student loan debt would contribute to stimulating the economy, from buying a car to starting a business. In addition, free public colleges would allow students to attend the public college of their choosing rather than being held back by their finances. 74% of students attend public colleges while 26% attend private colleges. Further, students from the highest quintile of socioeconomic status are 50% more likely to enroll in college than those in the lowest quintile, according to education data. Public colleges need to be a realistic option for low-income students. Robert Reich, the former United States Secretary of Labor, has advocated raising taxes on the wealthiest 1% of the population. This would raise enough money to allow public colleges to have a free tuition. Free public college is necessary for the next generation to be able to enter the workforce, bringing new ideas.
Absolving student debt or making college free altogether does not address the problem. It just passes the debt on to people who have responsibly paid off their student loans.
Some detractors say using taxes to pay for college expenses would put more of a burden on taxpayers and lead to overcrowding and low-quality education. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos has disapproved of the idea of free public college, saying it would put the financial burden on taxpayers.
Simply discharging all of these loans, as some on this committee suggest be done, is not fair to taxpayers, nor to those who have paid or are paying their loans.
In an interview, Harvard professor David Deming states this could lead to larger classes, less guidance and mentoring, and a generally lower quality experience. It is not at all clear that lower prices and lower levels of spending will be a good thing overall for students. While these are issues to consider, it is not certain whether or not free tuition would result in overcrowding and low-quality education. These issues are challenging but not insurmountable. With a new administration taking office, we as a nation have a tremendous opportunity to improve college affordability and provide opportunity for all students. Access to an affordable college education is crucial to the betterment of society as a whole.